Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna devotees, please accept my humble obeisances to all the people who joined this Zoom meeting. Thank you, Sundaranand Prabhuji, for giving me this opportunity to read today's Bhagavatam slokas translations. All glories to Lord Sri Krishna and Srila Prabhupada. Let me start with brief prayers. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam. Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Udharayet. नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवते उत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकीम् जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंदा श्री अद्वैत गदाधरा श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंदा हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे राम 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 हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे राम 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 हरे Today we are continuing with the Canto 9 Liberation and starting the new chapter 13, the dynasty of Maharaj Nimi, from slokas 1 to 11. The first sloka, Srila Sukadev Goswami said, after beginning sacrifices, Maharaj Nimi, the son of Ikshvaku, requested the great sage Vasistha to take the post of chief priest. At that time, Vasistha replied, my dear Maharaja Nimi, I have already accepted the same post in a sacrifice begun by Lord Indra. Sloka 2. I shall return here after finishing the yajna for Indra. Kindly wait for me until then. Maharaj Nimi remained silent and Vasistha began to perform the sacrifice for Lord Indra. Sloka 3. Maharaj Nimi, being a self-realized soul, considered that the life is flickering. Therefore, instead of waiting long for Vasistha, he began performing the sacrifice with other priests. Sloka 4. After completing the sacrificial performance for King Indra, the spiritual master Vasistha returned and found that his disciple Maharaj Nimi had disobeyed his instructions. Thus Vasistha cursed him, saying, may the material body of Nimi, who consider himself learned, immediately fall. Sloka 5. For unnecessarily cursing him when he had committed no offense, Maharaj Nimi counter-cursed his spiritual master. For the sake of getting contributions from the king of heaven, he said, you have lost your religious intelligence. Therefore, I pronounce this curse. Your body also will fall. Sloka 6. After saying this, Maharaj Nimi, who was expert in the science of spiritual knowledge, gave up his body. Vasistha, the great grandfather, gave up his body also, but through the semen discharged by Mitra and Varuna, when they saw Urvasi, he was born again. Sloka 7. During the performance of the yajna, the body relinquished by Maharaj Nimi was preserved in fragrant substances, and at the end of Satra Yaga, the great saints and Brahmanas made the following request to all the demigod assembled there. Sloka 8. If you are satisfied with this sacrifice and if you are actually able to do so, kindly bring Maharaj Nimi back to life in this body. The demigod said yes to this request by the sages, but Maharaj Nimi said, please do not imprison me again in a material body. Sloka 9. Maharaj Nimi continued, Mayavadis generally want freedom from accepting a material body because they fear having to give it up again. But devotees whose intelligence is always filled with the service of the Lord are unafraid. Indeed, they take the advantage of the body to render transcendental loving service. Sloka 10. I do not wish to accept a material body, for such a body is the source of all distress, lamentation, and fear everywhere in the universe, just as it is for a fish in the water, which lives always in anxiety because of fear of death. Sloka 11. The demigod said, let Maharaj Nimi live without a material body. Let him live in a spiritual body as a personal associate of Supreme Personality of Godhead, and according to his desire, let him be manifest or unmanifest to common materially embodied people. Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Kiran Prabhuji. Let's see. Hare Krishna, Sri Krishna Das Prabhuji. Please accept our humble obeisances. All praise to Srila Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj. Please take over the call, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much, Mataji. Yeah, just one second. Yeah, thank you, Kiran Prabhuji, for reading the Srimad Bhagavatam translation today. Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Cha Nandagopakumaraya Govindaya Namo Namaha Vairagya Vidya Nija Bhakti Yogam Sikshashtamekam Purusha Puranam Shri Krishna Chaitanya Saridhari Kripambadirtamaham Prapadye Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare Makam karoti vachalam pangum langete girim yat krupa tamaham vande Shri Gurum Dinatarinam Shri Paramananda Madhavam Shri Chaitanya Ishwaram. Hare Krishna, dear devotees. So we are seeing a new section today. So the 13th chapter, the dynasty of Maharaj Nimi. So we'll just see a glance of in the previous chapter. So in the 12th chapter, we saw how the the dynasty of Kusha, the son of Lord Ramachandra, the whole dynasty, it was described by Sukadeva Goswami. So there are many lineage was mentioned. So it was followed by Atithi, Nishada, Nabha, Pundarika. So there are many kings, and then finally Vajranabha also comes, Sagana and Vidithi. So these all personalities, they all ruled the entire the Bharatvarsha, and then later on. So from Viditi, Hiranyaba was mentioned as a disciple of Jaimini, and then he was basically teaching the system of mystic yoga, so in which Yajnavalkya was also initiated. So in the same dynasty, now there are many other kings were also mentioned. Um, so at the end, it was mentioned that um, in the age of Kali, in the Ikshvaku dynasty, um, there will be one personality, um, Sumitra will be coming in the age of Kali, will be the last king in the Ikshvaku dynasty. So they also, Sukadeva Goswami also mentioned who's going to be the last king in the Ikshvaku dynasty that will come in the future. So basically the past, present and future, everything is being foretold. So at the end of this chapter, the Ikshvaku dynasty last king was mentioned, and then the new chapter 13 is starting today. So in this chapter 13, Maharaj Nimi dynasty is being described. So, Janaka Maharaj, we know that it's the same dynasty that Janaka Maharaj was also born. In the same dynasty, Maharaj Nimi is also a son of Ikshvaku. So, so when all of these kings used to perform great sacrifices, those times, Ashwamedha Yagya was one of the famous sacrifices. Like that, there are many sacrifices Jagrik Brahmanas used to do, and they used to satisfy Lord Vishnu by performing these sacrifices. So even King Yudhishthira Maharaj also performed Ashwamedha Yagya sacrifice, Rajasuya Yagya. So in the Rajasuya Yagya, Arjuna was basically he only gets all the wealth that's required to perform the sacrifice. So he's called Dhananjaya. So because he's fetched so much wealth for the performing those sacrifices by Yudhishthira Maharaj. So in every king appoints one chief priest in the assembly. So the chief priest basically takes all the decisions in terms of any auspicious ceremonies to be performed. Somebody has to be coronated. Everything, all decisions were made by the chief priest, including teaching the future kings, the knowledge, giving them the knowledge and the etiquette and making decisions. So in this case, Maharaj Nimi basically appoints Vasishta as the chief priest, but Vasishta basically refused, and he because he had agreed to become a priest in the Lord Indra when he was performing yajna, he was agreed to become a priest. So because of that reason, Vasishta requested Maharaj Nimi to wait until the Indra's sacrifice is completed. So, but then Maharaj Nimi did not wait. So he thought life is very short. So therefore, he appointed another priest to perform the yajna. So because of that reason, Vasishta got offended and he became angry and cursed Maharaj Nimi. Then may your body fall down. So in that way, Maharaj Nimi also retaliated. He became angry, and also there was a counter curse that may your body fall down. Both Vasishta and Maharaj Nimi. So because of this incident, Vasishta took birth again, and then by Mitra and Varuna, who was agitated by Urvashi. So in the first, today we are seeing up to 11 verses. Yeah. So first 11 verses. So we'll see just a glance through these verses, what Shukadeva Goswami is elaborating here. So Maharaj Nimi is mentioned as Vidwan Shatram Haramba Tatmavan. So he's basically is a very learned personality. He's completely aware, and he's Atmavan, Arambhata Atmavan. So he's a self-realized person, So he's, and so it is. So he considered life as very flickering, Ritvibir aparish thavan nagama tyavata guruhu. So he did not wait for Maharaj, the Vashishta to come back after performing Indra Yajna. So he did not wait. He considered life to be very flickering and very short because he was a self-realized soul. So Chanakya Pandit also says that Sariram Shana Vidvamsi Kalpana Sthaino Gunaha. So the duration of one's life in the material world may end at any moment. So, we also say Padam Padam Vipadam. So every second there is a danger. So Maharaj Nimi is very much aware of this fact. So that's why he is not inclined to wait to perform the sacrifice. So he's appointing another priest for performing that sacrifice. So, um, so even there was another verse that Prabhupada always quotes from Chanakya Pandit. It says that even one moment cannot be purchased with so much amounts of wealth, that you have. So it's so valuable. So Nimi, Maharaj Nimi knew this fact that how then the human form of life, that it's so valuable that if I lose this opportunity, I won't be able to please Lord Vishnu in any other form of bodies. So that's the reason that Maharaj Nimi was not waiting for Vasishta to perform the Indra Yajna and then come back. So, and then going forward, the spiritual master Vasishta basically, he saw that his disciple Nimi was disobeyed his instructions. So he cursed Maharaj Nimi, and basically the curse is Ashapat Patatat Deho. So this body will fall down. So this is actually a great so in the Maharaj Nimi, who considers this body so valuable, imagine that this body may fall down. So that's the curse Vasishta is giving. Is a very detrimental curse. And then again, unnecessarily, so this offense was created because Maharaj Nimi did not create any offense, but Vasishta took it as an offense. So on the other side, then it is mentioned that Loba Dharmam Ajhanataha. So then now Nimi, Maharaj Nimi is saying, Loba, greed, because of the sake of contributions that Indra is giving, now you have, went and performed this sacrifice. So, you've fallen into the trap of greed, Loba. So, and therefore, Dharmam Ajanata, without knowing the religious principles, you just fell into the trap. So, and Maharaj Nimi is also counter cursing. So, he's saying that, and therefore, he's giving the reason and then saying, therefore, Guruve Adharma Vartina. So, he just, you were inducted to irreligious principles. And therefore, he is also saying, Tavapi Patathat Deho. So, you also, may this body also fall down, like that, they was cursing. So, Prabhupada gives some ideal examples of how a Brahmana should behave, how his occupation should be. So, Brahmana has 6 kinds of occupations: Patana, Patana, Jajana, Jajana, Dana, Pratigraha. So, he can read Shastra, Vedic scriptures, he can teach others about Vedic scriptures. So, if you look at the traditionally how the Brahmanas used to live, they used to have like nowadays they call tuition center. So like that, they used to have either a part-time school or a full-time school. So like in the case of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he had a full-time school that he was teaching Nyaya philosophy, Vedic philosophy, the Srimad Bhagavatam. So every verse Chaitanya Mahaprabhu used to take, and he used to conclude, this is the glorification of Krishna, like that. So, the Brahmanas is supposed to teach the Vedic knowledge to the common man and enlighten them into the Krishna consciousness. That is the one of the chief prominent duties. And they also read scriptures. They also become Vedic Brahmanas. There are 3 Vedis, who are very capable of reciting all three Vedas, Yajna, Sama, Atharvana Veda, like that. So, and then the things the Brahmanas used to do is Patana Patana, Jajana Jajana. They used to perform sacrifices for the sake of others, and they also used to perform um, sacrifices on their own. So, like that, there are these two kinds of occupations they used to do. And then dana pratigraha, so they used to give charity and receive charity. These are the six occupations given to brahmanas. But in the case of receiving charities, if someone becomes very much inclined and he goes on, to some wealthy people, thinking that he's going to give more charity, more opulent gifts, then he might be implicated by greed. So that is what in this verse that Maharaj Nimi is finding fault with Vashishta, and he's saying basically, Loba, because of Loba, you went to Adharma path of irreligious. So we can see that the Loba gives rise to Krodha, Kama, Loba. So this all this gives rise to ultimately the anger. So in this case, the anger came out of Maharaj Nimi, the Vasishta. Then he eventually cursed Maharaj Nimi. So who is a self-realized soul? So we can understand how to counteract this is to very carefully avoid places where there will be extremely opulent gifts. At least if that is what is in our actually in our consciousness, that we go so and so place because we get opulent gifts, then definitely such places can influence us. So here it is said that Prabhupada quotes, although Vasishta was a spiritual master Maharaj Nimi, because of his greed he become fallen. So we understand that how greed is very dangerous. So Krishna also says there are three gates to hell: Kama, Krodha, and Lobha. So this Lobha is very dangerous. In this case, Vashishta also fell in this trap. So and then after this, Maharaj Nimi, he was mentioned. It was Adhyatma Kovidaha. So Kovida means one who is fully expert in the Adhyatma, in the knowledge of self. He's a very expert in self-realized knowledge. So he was born from the Mitra and Varuna. So here it was said that uh, so Maharaj Nimi gave up his body, and then the Vashishta also gave up his body. But he was born again from Mitra and Varuna through Urvashi. So when they saw Urvashi, he was born again. So now so this Urvashi personality, she is in the heavenly planets. So when Mitra and Varuna saw Urvashi, they become extremely uh, um, this Cupid tempted, and then they were great signs, but then they could not control their lust, and then discharged semen, and eventually Vasishta was born from a water pot. So that was the pastime, the story that how the Vasishta was born again. So because of this curse, they had to give up their body, the current body, and then they have to again born again. So now, Maharaj Nimi, when the body was relinquished by Maharaj Nimi, it was said that it was preserved in some fragrant substances. And then at the end of Satya Yuga, it was mentioned that Devan Uchuhu Samagatahan. So, following the demigods who are all assembled there, uh, so they so assembled there basically made one request. So they said, if you are all satisfied, the Brahmanas made this request to the demigods. Basically, if you are all satisfied with this sacrifice, then Maharaj Nimi, we have to bring him back to life in this body. So the demigods also agreed, and then and so but Maharaj Nimi was mentioning here one particular request. So he, being a self-realized person, just like how Shukadeva Goswami was in the mother's womb for 16 years, he did not want to accept another body. He's saying that Ma Bun Me Deha Bandhanam, so I don't want to be imprisoned in this body again. So he didn't want to take another material body, and eventually he made that request. so so we can understand how exalted self-realized person he is, completely understanding this material body is actually a pre-imprisonment. So we know in this material world, when somebody makes against the rule of the law, they're put into prison, right? But this body itself is basically imprisonment, that the soul lacks all the freedom within this body. So Narada Muni can go anywhere, he's traveling all the planets, but the soul is imprisoned in this Panchabhutas, body made of Panchabhutas, is basically containing the freedom of the soul, so that the soul's activities is limited to the purview of the body. So in the Bhagavad Gita also it says that Kshetrak Kshetrajna. So there is a field and field of activities. So the human body field of activities, we have expanded due to this automobiles, vehicles, aeroplanes. But ideally, we cannot go far away. It's just like if you take a body of an ant, that's field of activity is very limited. Similarly, a body of a bird, the field of activity is limited. So according to that body given, the field of activity also expands. So, but a spiritual body, one who is in the Vaikuntha planets, their field of activities is very vast. They have freedom to travel anywhere because they are they are not being punished like in this imprisonment of material body. So now Maharaj Nimi is very much aware of this fact, and uh, so and then Prabhupada also mentioning that how demigods are very powerful. So they are even they can bring a dead body alive. They have such powers bestowed by Lord Krishna, and we should not just think that demigods only enjoying senses. But there are demigods who are very powerful also. And then so Prabhupada also quoting the pastime of Savitri and Satyavan. So Satyavan, basically he died and he was taken to Yamaraj, but on the request of Mother Savitri, Satyavan was revived in the same body. So this is another example how the demigods like Yamaraj can actually again give the life back to a dead body. So because these powers are bestowed to the demigods. So and then the verse number 9. So we can see that Maharaj Nimi was speaking, basically saying that how he was quoting that I do not want this material imprisonment again. And then he was quoting this Yashya yogam na vanchati viyoga bhayak kataraha bhajanti charanambujam munayo harimedashaha. So he's saying that how that when the Mayavadis, they generally want freedom from the material body because they have this fear. So they have this fear that again they're going to give up this material body. We have to give up this material body, but then their focus is that fear. They have to give up the material body. But on the Vaishnavas or devotees, they use the material body without having the fear of giving up the body. They are using the body to render devotional service to the Supreme Lord. So that is why we can see that how Vaishnava philosophy is the topmost, because Vaishnava philosophies where we can actually become Jivan Muktas. While living in the same material body, they are liberated, completely liberated from the three modes of material nature and completely transcendental. And that is only possible when they serve with body, mind, and words. So, just like sannyasis have tridandas, body, mind, and words, they completely dedicate oneself to the Supreme Lord's service, and then from that they derive transcendental bliss. And that is the magic that Vaishnavas could do with this body. So they don't actually fear. Even Shukadeva Goswami at the end, when Parishad Maharaj he says, Parishad Maharaj is already very elevated, he understands all this, but for the sake of all of us, he says, do not actually think that you're going to die. Just don't be like, he basically strongly condemns Parishad Maharaj. Don't think you're dying. You even after hearing everything, he finally is saying that, because it's Vaishnavas are so focused in the spiritual, the transcendental subjects of the Lord, they completely transcend this material body. So they take advantage. So Prabhupada used to say, good, best out of bad bargain. So we have a bad bargain, but how we can make best out of it? We already have this material body. So, but now we have to take a good advantage of this material body by using this in the transcendental loving service of the Lord. So, so so in this case, Maharaj Nimi was correct that this material body was the cause of bondage. But because he was a devotee, he wanted a body by which he could render devotional service to the Lord. So in this case, Prabhupada is quoting a verse from the Bhaktivinoda Thakur's song, Manasa Deho Geho. So this is a very beautiful verse. Janmo bhimo icha jadito bhakta grahe jani janma haumo kita janma ho yata tuvadasha. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur is saying that if janmo bhi mo icha yadithor, if at all I have to accept a body again, bhakta grahe jani janma how more. So please give me a body in the family of devotees, Vaishnavas. So and then kita janma ho jata yatha tuva das. So kita janma means even if I have to be born in an insignificant, small creature like an insect, but still I do not mind to take up that body. So you can see that the both sides, Bhaktivinoda Thakur is covering. I do not want this material body as a cause of bondage, but I do not mind taking a body of an insect which is cause of great suffering. See, he is saying that I can even be an insect as long as it is in the serving the Lord in the association of Vaishnavas. So that is the mood of the Vaishnavas that we can understand. So in this verse also Maharaj Nimi was focusing on this, how exalted that he's giving. So the devotees are like that. They have no personal desires. Just like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, Nadanam na janam na sundarim kavitam va jagadisha kamaye mama janmani janmanishware bhavatat bhakti rahaitu kitvayi. So life after life, mama janmani janmanishware. So as long as all they want is unmotivated devotional service, because they are deriving so much pleasure, so much bliss, that all this pleasure from Dhanam, Janam, and Sundaram, all this does not appeal to them. So that is the essence. So as long as we have this strong desire to serve the Lord, then even if we accept a material body, there is no anxiety. We can become like a Jivan Mukta sa uchyate. Iha yashya harer karmana manasha gira nikilashva api avashtashu jivan muktasha uchyate. So as long as we serve Lord Krishna with this body, mind and words, intelligence, So we may be engaged in so many material, so-called material activities, but still we are in the liberated condition. So that is the verdict of Shastra. So so eventually now Nimi is saying so how this body is cause of dukkha, shoka, bhaya, avaham. So it's cause of all kinds of distress, lamentation, be fear. So in this material world, to protect this body, people go to such an extent of to stealing and then making so many sinful activities. They get punished by the rule of the law, and also they get punished in the next life. They take all kinds of risk. So Prabhupada also makes that point that how people take all kinds of risk to protect this body, and we even go to such an extent to perform ghastly activities like murdering animals and eating the flesh of the animals. All this is to what? To protect the body, right? So this body can be give so much suffering. So that is why Maharaj Nimi is saying it's always giving me this body gives anxiety, fear of death, so much. So even there is one verse, it says boge rogo bayam. So when you want to eat nicely, all the and like enjoy the food, then you fear of roga, disease. Like that, everything you do, there is a fear in this, counteracting fear in this material world. So in this material world, every living entity is being food to another living entity. So in the Srimad Bhagavatam also it says, Ahastani Shahastanam Apadani Chatushpadam Palguni Tatra Mahatam Jiva Jivasya Jivanam. So Jivo Jivasya Jivanam. So one living entity is basically the food for another living entity. So that itself is a cause of fear in the material world. So one living entity is always in fear that another living entity is going to eat that living entity. So you can imagine in the forest this struggle for existence is going on. In the human being also the struggle for existence is going on, that one living entity thinks he is my enemy, I have to destroy him. He is my business opponent, and I have to destroy him. Like that, people have enmities and they have frictions. So that's a whole cause of anxiety. And at the end, there is a death waiting. That is also cause of anxiety. So like this, Maharaj Nimi was speaking very elevated, self-realized words. And finally, the last verse for today, the verse number 11, Deva Uchuhu, like the demigods were now speaking. Um, so Maharaj Nimi, they are saying that Videha Uchyatam Kamam Lochaneshu Saririnam. So they are saying that let Maharaj Nimi without a material body, let him live in spiritual body as a personal associate of Supreme Personality of Godhead. And according to his desire, let him be manifest, unmanifest to common materially embodied men. So this is a great benediction by the he is a fit personality for associating with the Lord. He is fully self-realized. So now the demigods also understand that he is not actually interested in fulfilling any desires in the material body. So let him be adhyatma shamsitaha, situated in the spiritual body. So it's a great benediction. Uh, So the demigods wanted Maharaj Nimi to come to life, but the demigods wanted him to be fully in the spiritual body, Adhyatma. So it's mentioned Adhyatma Samstitaha, so situated in a spiritual body. So, so here, so again, so sometimes Prabhupada is quoting that. So when the spirit has, sometimes when a person commits suicide, he may not have a material body. He may have to suffer the consequences before accepting another material body. So he may just be in a subtle body. Um, this subtle, uh, so the demigods here that he was, what they were giving benediction is not like this. They were being purely in a spiritual body, free from gross and subtle. So not even subtle body, not even gross body. So free from both subtle and gross body. So that is the clarity that Prabhupada is giving, that so Maharaj Nimi is given that kind of a body where is fully spiritual. Um, so we cannot basically like just like when the Lord appears manifest and unmanifest, we may see, but then Lord is everywhere, we cannot see. So there are Krishna can manifest and Krishna can unmanifest. So here the common man, he for Lord is cannot be seen for the common man. So but he can be felt like that. He can be felt like holy name. We can feel him. So therefore, so it's we need the Krishna's mercy to be able to perceive the Lord. Similarly, Maharaj Nimi also got his spiritual body as a associate of Supreme Personality of Godhead. So he got the same privilege, like he can manifest and he can unmanifest according to his own desire. So Hare Krishna. This concludes today's verse. Thank you very much. Sorry I took extra time today. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Ananta Koti Vaishnav Vrinda ki jai, Vancha Kalpatrubhyasya Kripa Sindhubhya Vachaha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much, devotees.
Thank you very much, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you,
Thank you so
Prabhuji.
much. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji, for very beautiful class. Hare Krishna, all devotees, for joining the class today. Hare Krishna.